Hello and welcome back to another video. I am so glad you're here. On this channel, I talk about news, controversies, and drama on the bookish side of the internet, and I certainly hope you'll stick around. If you only watch my video this far, I'm putting the most important thing I want to say right here. If you care about authors, both traditionally published and indie published, please take a look at this link and sign the petition. I'm about to explain everything, but if you are about to click off, please at least check out that link, and I will put the link to it in the description as well. So, another day, another reason Amazon is the worst. Despite our collective best efforts to stop shopping there, most of us still use it from time to time, whether it's for the convenience, the price, or the delivery speed. And in the bookish community, it's been pretty universally accepted that purchasing books, and particularly physical books, from Amazon really hurts indie bookstores when those titles are readily available at other places. And I don't want to say to never ever use Amazon, because a lot of indie authors have their books available only on Amazon. But be mindful of it, and wherever possible, purchase directly from the author if you can. Anyways, despite Audible being part of Amazon, a lot of folks still use it exclusively for their audiobooks. And I get it. It's convenient. It's connected to their Kindle library, and if you aren't really tuned into the book community, you'd honestly have no idea that there's really anything wrong with using it. And there isn't anything inherently wrong with it, but there are better options out there, and a change they've recently made to their royalty structure for authors is something I just think you should know before continuing to use their service. So about a year ago, Audible announced that they would be changing how their authors get paid, and at first glance, it seems great. But first, let's start with the current model. So for a consumer, there are 3 different subscription options. Audible Plus gives you access to the all-you-can-listen feature with thousands of available titles and unlimited listening time. In this option, authors were given a one-time lump sum when the title is added to their catalog, and no royalties were given. Audible Standard gives you 1 credit per month that can be used on any book in their library. Authors receive a royalty payment on each book sold based on the list price of their book, which varies. Audible Premium Plus gives you both of these features. So you get 1 credit per month in addition to access to the all-you-can-listen catalog. And at this point, as far as I can tell, Audible has completely gotten rid of the standard plan. So as I said, Audible recently raised their royalty rates for authors. From their website, we are now rolling out a new royalty model that prioritizes equity, flexibility, and insight for creators. One that evolved out of ongoing conversations with authors and publishers, and that advances our creator-centric ethos. Under this model, creators are able to monetize more types of content, and listeners will get to discover more innovative storytelling. Titles in all Audible's membership offerings can now earn royalties. Audible's new royalty model means new opportunities for small publishers and independent authors to earn across all membership listening activity. Now more titles, including those currently in Audible Plus, Audible's all-you-can-listen offering, can generate royalty payments. Depending on the audience that publishers and creators want to reach, there are new ways to monetize and promote content, which means more flexibility to reach listeners where they are. The new model provides additional insights. Monthly statements and royalty payments will empower timely decision-making. Providers who sign up for the new model will also benefit from additional insights about the impact of listening on their earnings, and other data points on how an Audible member's payments tie directly to the Audible content they engage with. So that sounds lovely, right? Here's an explanation of how those royalties will be getting paid out. How is the new royalty model calculated? Audible takes a member's plan value, Plus or Premium Plus, and adds the value of any additional credits used, then divides that value among the titles the member listened to over the course of the month. That figure, multiplied by the contractual royalty rate, comprises a creator's royalty payment. Now that might make perfect sense to you, but I needed it broken down some more, and so maybe someone else does too. So the first thing that needs to be understood is what member value means. What is member value? How is it determined? Member value is what's net new in the updated royalty model. It represents the value of a member's listening behavior. To determine member value, we first look at which plan a member is subscribed to in a given marketplace, e.g. Premium Plus, Plus or Monthly All-You-Can-Listen plan, and capture that monthly membership revenue minus taxes and fees. This amount is member value at the most basic level. We then will look to see if the member used an additional credit on a title above their plan allowance, in which case the amount of member value will be increased. The total member value is then divided up and allocated proportionally to each title the member engaged with, based on the a la carte price of those titles. This step ensures a fair share of member value is allocated to each title before multiplying by your contractual royalty rate to get the royalties due. I wish I could just show you the video that Audible put out themselves explaining it, but I'm not risking that. So I'll link it down below if you want to go watch it. But I did take some screen grabs from the video showing different royalty scenarios. So in this example, the member used 1 credit on a book using their membership that has a $13 value. They did not listen to any other books or use any other credits. The author then gets their royalty rate paid out based on that $13, and in this example, that's 50%. So the author makes $6.50 in royalties. It's also worth noting that in the old plan, if your book's list price was $30 and someone used their credit worth $13 to purchase it, your royalty percentage was based off of the $30 your book is listed at. So as an example, if your audiobook was $30, even with a royalty rate of 25%, you'd still be making an entire dollar more than with the new model. And I should also say here that while royalty rates did go up across the board, 50% is the highest payout, and that is only available for titles that are exclusively available on Audible. There is some details and fine print to that, but just know that 50% is the highest anybody would be getting. In this next example, the member used a credit, Book A, and listened to 1 title on the all-you-can-listen plan, Book B. So the member value is still $13 because they didn't use additional credits, only used the all-you-can-listen library. Then they look at the list price of those 2 titles. The list price of Book A is $30, and the list price of Book B is $15. The total of both is used to determine the percentage of the royalties each author gets. So with Book A getting 2/3 of the value at a 50% royalty rate, they'd earn $4.34 in this scenario. The author of Book B would get 1/3 of the value, or $2.17. So this doesn't really seem fair, does it? By a consumer actually taking advantage of the all-you-can-listen plan, which is, something they are paying for, they are by default lowering the amount that authors get paid. And in my opinion, and I've seen a lot of people say this, the all-you-can-listen books just need to be in a pool of their own. And here's something I haven't seen a ton of other creators talking about on this subject, and that is qualified listens. We've all listened to a sample or started an audiobook and then realized for whatever reason, this is not a book I want to continue listening to. So this is Audible's solution to make sure that books that are only getting just a quick moment of runtime aren't being added into the pool of divided funds. Unfortunately, I don't think the thresholds are really fair though. Here's a table showing what they've come up with. And I tried for over an hour to find information on books over 299 minutes to no avail. This is quite literally the only thing I could find on it that specified those particular instances. I know there will be people who disagree with me on that, and that's fine. I just think that the threshold for longer books should be a bit higher. And here's another thing. While this might seem like it would be a good thing for those authors with books enrolled in the all-you-can-listen model, despite it being at the expense of other authors, it isn't something you can just opt into. Currently, it's a program you have to apply and be accepted into. So just something small to note so you have all this information. And something in all of this that is never addressed is, what about Audible-produced titles in the public domain? Daniel Green's videos discussing the situation explain this so well, so please go check those out too, but I'll do my own example here too. In his video, he uses Frankenstein, but I'm going to use Oliver Twist. So this is a title in the public domain. We can see here that there are several different versions, and a few of those are listed as Audible exclusives, meaning they were recorded and produced by Audible. So let's say a member used their monthly credit on Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, an absolutely brilliant book that I highly recommend. If that was the only thing they listened to, she'd get her $6.50 and that'd be that. But say this member also listened to one of the Audible produced versions of Oliver Twist. Well, now we get into another scenario. Remarkably Bright Creatures costs $25.19, and this version of Oliver Twist is $25.08. For simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna say they're both listed at $25. So each title gets 50% of the $6.50 allotted for royalties, meaning each would net $3.25 for the author. But who are the royalties from Oliver Twist going to? Let's say this member also listened to this Audible exclusive version of Emma. So we now have our two $25 books, and then this one, which we're gonna round up to $10 because this is already more math than I've done since college. All three books total $60, but the member value is still $13. We know that $6.50 of that is what's allotted for royalty payouts. So in this particular case, $2.70 would be given to Shelby, which is already pretty bad for a $25 audiobook, and then the other $10.30 would go to ? I guess just back into Audible's pocket? They have not made a statement about this at all. And Daniel Green made a really great point in saying that in a situation like this, and I feel like it's a fair assumption that's what's happening, this is directly stealing money from the author's pocket for their own gain. This is my own personal opinion based on the information I have. But I really think if that money was going to something Audible could use to make themselves look good, they'd be talking about it. Which is what leads me to believe that the money's just going straight back to them, in my opinion. So last night, I'm sitting there writing the script, I'm rotting on my couch, and suddenly I start seeing notifications that there has been some new information uncovered in this situation. And it is bad. So most of you watching this probably know, but quick little background. KDP stands for Kindle Direct Publishing and is the platform that many indie authors use to publish their books. On their website, they really give a whole breakdown of the entire process for publishing through them. And nestled deep in these pages lies the following. Learn more about audiobooks with virtual voice. Audiobooks continue to grow in popularity, and this format represents a key earnings opportunity for authors. However, only 5% of all books on Amazon are released as audiobooks. To make it easier for Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP authors to quickly and easily produce an audio version of their ebook, we launched audiobooks with virtual voice in beta to the US marketplace. KDP authors in the beta can create audiobooks with virtual voice, computer-generated narration, in addition to the audiobook creation options available through ACX. With virtual voice, authors can create an audiobook in minutes by 1. Selecting an eligible KDP ebook from their bookshelf, 2. Choosing from 80 voices, including American English, Latin American Spanish, Castilian Spanish, Australian English, British English, French, and Italian. Authors can also set a different voice for each chapter. 3. Setting a list price between $3.99 and $14.99. 4. Previewing and editing the narration before publishing. Authors receive a 40% royalty for the a la carte sales. Audiobooks created from ebooks in KDP Select are also included in Audible's Plus catalog and eligible for a share of the KDP Select Global Fund. Customers can find and listen to audiobooks with virtual voice wherever Audible audiobooks are available today. This includes the opportunity to reach millions of listeners on Amazon, Audible, Alexa, and through Amazon Music Unlimited. Audiobooks created by virtual voice are clearly labeled, and as with any audiobook, customers can listen to samples before purchasing. I shouldn't be surprised, and yet here I am. They are really saying the quiet part out loud. If you're an author who wants their book to have an audiobook, but don't feel like paying professionals to produce it, well, this is the answer you've been looking for, I guess. And from what I understand, this information has actually always been available on their website since they came up with this, but with the new royalty structure, people have just been looking at every single one of the pages on this with more scrutiny. So while Amazon wasn't necessarily hiding this, no one was really talking about it, or at least that's how it seemed. Now, the way I see it, by using a kind of slow rollout process for authors being eligible, this kind of limited how much attention it was given, and the earliest instance that I could find it being talked about is November 2023. Victoria Strauss says AI continues to threaten audiobook narrators. Amazon is testing virtual voice narration that would enable KDP authors to create audiobooks on their own. And then she links to a Publishers Weekly article. And then this one from September 2024. Hey y'all, if you're like me, you absolutely hate virtual voice narration titles from Audible. The good news is you can automatically remove them from your searches. Whatever else you're looking for, include the following in the search box exactly as written without the quotes. Tells you what that says. That's a minus and an underscore. I have tested this and it works. And from what I've been seeing, this trick no longer works, but you can put the same thing in the narrator search and it works, according to a few threads I saw. Don't hold me to it. So I had heard about this in a very vague way before now, but I really had no idea it was so simple and seamless for authors to do. I haven't used Audible in many years, so I just hadn't really kept up with it. Down in the description, I'm going to link a video by John at Falstaff Books who actually tested out how it works and showed how simple it is. Definitely make sure to watch that one as well. But he makes a really great point in it, and that is a person can give ChatGPT a prompt and have it write a book. Then they can upload it to KDP and make it available as an ebook. And then they can go in and create an audiobook for it using virtual voice. Books in this program are automatically included in Audible Plus and therefore included in the KDP Select Global Fund, which is the pool that Kindle Unlimited authors get paid out of. Suddenly, we have a book that has barely needed a human to create it in any way, and this book is taking money out of real authors' pockets. Obviously, this is my channel, so you're going to get my thoughts and feelings, but it's far more important to hear directly from the people this will financially affect. And so if I can facilitate that, I'm always going to. This first one is an indie author that I actually recently featured, Jacob Hubbard. He writes, I did Sounds of Yesterday as an Audible exclusive thinking it could help me get the book out there more. Looking back on that now, that was a mistake. Now I feel screwed over. Decayed Art says, I wrote my debut novel last year and was thinking of narrating my own book. I was already getting shafted on KDP. Now I'm like, what's the point? I pulled my book from Kindle a few months ago. I was making $2 on a $9.99 priced ebook. No fucking way. I'm doing more work just to get pennies or nothing. Might as well trad publish. That one's a little bit more about Kindle, but it's the same thing, just getting nothing. This author says, last month I sold 104 audiobooks on Audible. I got paid today, $286. That is $2.75 per book, which is less than I get paid for most of my ebooks, which cost little to nothing for me to produce. Did Audible pay a cent to produce these audiobooks? Nope. Did they keep 75% of my profits? Yep. No, I'm not demonizing readers/users of Audible. I'm demonizing Audible. For reference, the union rate for one finished hour of audio is $250. I barely made back what I paid my narrators for 1 hour of one audiobook in a whole ass month. Once again, not demonizing narrators, I am demonizing Audible. Now listen. Before anyone runs to cancel their Audible membership, there is one situation that we haven't talked about yet that's important. So this author named Jill N. Davies makes a TikTok that brings up a different issue.
Audible is undercutting authors and narrators again, and we are seeing another major egress of readers from this platform to other preferable and remarkably supportable platforms like Libby and Libro FM. I have no complaints about readers taking their support and putting it where they choose. But here's the thing. My books are on Audible. They are exclusive to Audible for the next 6 to 7 years, and I will not be able to change that no matter how much I want. Because I made my books with the royalty share option with my narrator, which requires the books to be exclusive to Audible for the aforementioned time frame, and currently Audible is the only platform that has a royalty share option for audiobook production. I saw a comment on a post recently that said, I really think readers will follow authors to other platforms if they go, so why don't authors leave Amazon and Audible platforms? And I understand the sentiment. I purchase books outside of the Audible and Amazon platforms whenever that's an option, but I still use Audible and Amazon because there's a reason authors are on there. When I published Due North in 2020, I published wide, meaning that while Due North was on KDP and Amazon, the ebook was also on every other platform, including Kobo, Barnes & Nobles, iBooks, and Requestable on Libby. And I had zero traction in any of those spaces because I didn't have the budget or the support to make it visible wide. It wasn't until I put my book in Kindle Unlimited that I was able to attract a readership, small as it may be. And even then, I'm limited by the lack of advertising budget. And I'm in the same situation with the production of the audiobook. Just like so many other indie authors, I chose a royalty share option to produce an audiobook in order to have an audiobook option, which is an accessibility option for so many people for so many reasons. I don't know if I would make that same choice again. I'm not telling anyone who refuses to use Amazon or Audible to go buy or listen to my books. I'm not the boss of you, and I don't set your ethical purchasing compass. But I can ask that if you use Audible or Kindle Unlimited to support indie authors in the same or similar situations, that you consider supporting me, along with so many other indie authors. In the same breath, might I suggest that you consider these platforms to exclusively support indie authors? If a book is available via another platform, I recommend accessing it there. And if you are listening on Audible, please make certain you are supporting human voices, written and spoken. Your choice to support these works en masse will inform the royalty and business models moving forward. And your choices give indie authors a chance to build platforms in this impacted space.
And then we have a narrator named Raven Wildwood who also gave her thoughts. As a narrator, I literally don't even know how to feel about it. Obviously it's awful, but so many authors/narrators have their books exclusively on Audible, so saying ban Audible doesn't feel right. I wish they'd give everyone the option to get out of their exclusivity clauses if they're going to make all these BS changes that negatively impact us. So this is a situation that I really hadn't thought about, and I think that she presents a really great solution. Use your credits for Audible exclusives from indie authors. For other audiobooks, use other platforms. And this feels like a great time to plug the Libby app. In case anyone isn't aware, it's an app that lets you borrow ebooks and audiobooks directly from your library. Obviously, what they have on there will vary depending on what your library carries, and I can recognize that I am lucky enough to live in a city with a huge catalog, but I will always advocate for using your library anytime you can. And a lot, if not all, I really don't know if it's all, but many libraries, you can also request titles and they'll get them for you. So to wrap this all up, I'm not telling you to go cancel your Audible subscription, but I encourage you to take what I've said in this video and others have said in theirs and ask yourself if this is still a company that deserves your money. Audible has a bottom line and authors are the ones that pay the price. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there's a petition on change.org asking Audible to change their royalty plan. If you can spare a moment to sign it, this is the best way for authors and consumers to tell them this is unacceptable, and it's harming the authors who keep them in business. Unfortunately, since I put this video together quickly to help get the word out, I was not able to get an indie author feature ready in time, but consider this as a request to please support the authors that give us the books we love. What they do is so hard and so valuable, and as part of the book community, they could really use extra support from readers right now. Everything I've referenced in this video will be linked down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more just like it, make sure you're subscribed. I do also have a Patreon if you're interested in supporting me over there, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!